Hello everyone, I Nidhi, your friend and coach, welcome you all to my channel English with Nidhi. And in this video, we'll cover yet another poem from class 10 CBSE English literature book called First Flight. And the poem is The Tale of Custard the Dragon by Ogden Nash. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Introduction. The poem The Tale of Custard the Dragon is a comical one written in the form of a ballad. Ballad is a long narrative poem or song that tells us a story. It is a poem that teaches us how we should never judge a book by its cover. Now, let's quickly read the poem first. The Tale of Custard the Dragon. Belinda lived in a little white house with a little black kitten and a little grey mouse, and a little yellow dog and a little red wagon and a really truly little pet dragon. Now, the name of the little black kitten was Ink, and the little grey mouse she called him Blink, and the little yellow dog was sharp as mustard, but the dragon was a coward and she called him Custard. Custard the dragon had big sharp teeth and spikes on top of him and scales underneath, mouth like a fireplace, chimney for a nose, and a really truly daggers for his toes. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of bears, and Ink and Blink chased lions down the stairs. Mustard was as brave as a tiger in rage, but Custard cried for a nice safe cage. Belinda tickled him, she tickled him unmerciful. Ink, Blink and Mustard, they rudely called him Cursival. They all sat laughing in the little red wagon at the really truly cowardly dragon. Belinda giggled till she shook the house, and Blink said which is giggle for a mouse. Ink and Mustard rudely asked his age, when Custard cried for a nice safe cage. Suddenly, they heard a nasty sound, and Mustard growled, and they all looked around. Mew, cried the Ink, and oh, cried Belinda, for there was a pirate climbing in the window. Pistol in his left hand, pistol in his right, and he held in his teeth a cutlass bright. His beard was black, one leg was wood, and it was clear that the pirate meant no good. Belinda paled, she cried, "Help, help!" but Mustard fled with a terrified yelp. Ink trickled down to the bottom of the household, and the little mouse Blink strategically mouseholed. But up jumped the Custard, snorting like an engine, clashed his tails like iron in a dungeon. With a clatter and clank and a jangling squirm, he went at the pirate like a robin at a worm. The pirate gasped at Belinda's dragon and gulped some grog from his pocket flagon. He fired 2 bullets, but they didn't hit, and Custard gobbled him every bit. Belinda embraced him, Mustard licked him. No one mourned for his pirate victim. Ink and Blink in glee did gyrate around the dragon that ate the pirate. But presently up spoke little dog Mustard. I had been twice as brave if I hadn't been flustered. And up spoke Ink and up spoke Blink. We had been thrice times as brave, we think. And Custard said, I quite agree that everyone is braver than me. Belinda still lives in her little white house with her little black kitten and her little grey mouse, and her little yellow dog and her little red wagon and a really truly little pet dragon. Belinda is as brave as a barrel full of bears, and Ink and Blink chase lions down the stairs. Mustard is as brave as a tiger in rage, but Custard keeps crying for a nice safe cage. By Ogden Nash. Further in the video, we will cover a stanza-wise summary and explanation of the poem. But before that, let's quickly read and understand the difficult words from the poem along with their meanings. Number 1. Wagon. A small vehicle used for transporting goods and people. Number 2. Realio. Here it is used for really. 3. Trulio. Here it is used for truly. 4. Mustard, a spicy yellow paste. 5. Custard, a dessert. 6. Coward, someone who is always afraid, or someone who has no courage. Number 7. Trivial, of very little importance. 8. Deliberately, that is, doing something knowingly. 9. Coziness, that is, the quality of being comfortable and warm. 10. Contradictory, that is, contrary or opposite. 11. Mortal enemies, that is, enemies for a long time. 12. Spikes, here custard skin, that is pointed and triangle shape on top as marked in the picture. Number 13. Scales, generally it is the thin glass-like layer on the body, but here as marked in the picture. Fireplace, a place where we put up a fire in the house. 15. Chimney, a vertical pipe that conducts smoke out of the fireplace. 16. Barrel, a cylindrical container made to store things, that is mostly liquor or alcohol. 17. Daggers, short pointed swords. Number 18. Rage, anger at the extreme which is difficult to control. 19. Heinous, that is utterly wicked. 20. Mythical, that is fictitious or not true, or existing only in imagination. 21. Tickled, a light constant touch that makes a person laugh. 22. Unmerciful, that is not showing any pity or mercy. 23. Vulnerable, that is weak and easy to hurt emotionally or physically. 24. Giggling, a light and silly laugh. 25. Pistol, a small gun. 26. Growl, that is make a low sound. 27. Pirate, a person who attacks and robs ships. 28. Winda, here colloquial for window. Number 29. Cutlass, a short sword with a curve at the end. 30. Pale, light in color or shade. 31. Fled, to run away. 32. Terrified, very frightened. 33. Yell, a short cry. 34. Trickled, flow gradually. 35. Strategically, that is relating to strategy. 36. Snorting, making a sound through the nose. 37. Dungeons, a strong underground passage. 38. Clattering, that is a continuous rattling sound. 39. Squirm, that is twist the body. 40. Robin, that is a bird. 41. Gaped, that is to open one's mouth in shock. 42. Gulped, swallow quickly. 43. Grog, that is a type of alcohol. 44. Flagon, that is a large container. 45. Gobble, that is to eat hurriedly. 46. Embrace, that is to accept and include. 47. Mourn, that is to feel and show great sadness. 48. Flustered, that is to make someone nervous. 49. Glee, that is very happy. And number 50. Gyrate, that is to move rapidly in circles.
Now let's cover the stanza-wise summary and explanation of the poem. This poem is about Custard, the cowardly dragon who, when unfavorable time arrives, overcomes his fears and defends Belinda and his other animal friends. Stanza 1. Belinda lived in a little white house with a little black kitten and a little grey mouse, and a little yellow dog and a little red wagon and a really or truly little pet dragon. In the first stanza, the poet Ogden Nash says that there is a girl Belinda who lives with numerous pets in a little white house. These pets are a little black kitten, a little grey mouse, a little yellow dog, and a pet that was really and truly a dragon. Stanza 2. Now the name of the little black kitten was Ink, and the little grey mouse she called him Blink, and the little yellow dog was sharp as mustard, but the dragon was a coward and she called him Custard. In this stanza, the poet introduces the pets. He says that Belinda named them after their characteristics. As the cat was black, she named him Ink, and she called the grey mouse Blink, as the mouse can be really fast, that is, can appear or disappear in the blink of an eye. Belinda named the dog Mustard because of his yellow color and sharp senses, and the dragon was called Custard because he was a timid coward creature and his name rhymed with mustard. Stanza 3. Custard the dragon had a big sharp teeth and spikes on top of him and scales underneath, mouth like a fireplace, chimney for a nose, and a real trulio draggers on his toes. In this stanza, the poet describes the dragon. He says that his teeth were big and sharp, and that the skin on his back was spiked, that is, pointed. On the lower part, it had scales to protect the skin. His mouth has been compared to a fireplace because dragons can release fire from their mouth. His nose is compared to a chimney, which is used to pass out smoke. His feet or nails are compared to a sharp knife or a dagger. Stanza 4. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of beers, and Ink and Blink chased lions down the stairs. Mustard was as brave as a tiger in a rage, but Custard cried for a nice safe cage. This stanza tells us about everyone's bravery except the dragon. The poet says that while Belinda was as brave as several bears together, and the cat and the mouse were so brave that they chased lions around, the dog was as angry as a tiger, but Custard, the dragon, was the only one who was immensely timid and always searched for a nice safe place to hide. Stanza 5. Belinda tickled him, she tickled him unmerciful. Ink, Blink and Mustard, they rudely called him Percival. They all sat laughing in a little red wagon at the Relio Trulio cowardly dragon. In this stanza, the poet tells about how they used to tease the dragon while sitting in their little red wagon. Belinda used to tickle him mercilessly, while Ink, Blink and Mustard made fun of him by comparing him to a knight at King Arthur's court named Percival, who was thought to be brave but ran away due to lack of courage when the time arrived. Stanza 6. Belinda giggled till she shook the house. Stanza 6. Belinda giggled till she shook the house, and Blink said "Wick," which is giggling for a mouse. Ink and Mustard rudely asked his age, while Custard cried for a nice safe cage. In this stanza, the poet tells that Belinda's laugh was so loud that it echoed all through the house. The mouse Blink used to laugh and make a sound of "Wick." On the other hand, Ink and Mustard would tease him by asking the dragon his age whenever he demanded for a safe cage. Stanza 7. Suddenly, they heard a nasty sound, and Mustard growled, and they all looked around. "Mew!" cried Ink, and "Oh!" cried Belinda, for there was a pirate climbing in the window. In this stanza, the poet says that the inhabitants of the house were playing around and making fun of the dragon when they heard the sound of someone entering the house. As they looked towards the window, they saw a pirate climbing up the window. The dog barked and the cat mewed at him, while Belinda let out a shocked "Oh!" in response, for they were all scared of the pirate. Stanza 8. Pistol in his left hand, pistol in his right, and he held in his teeth a cutlass bright. His beard was black, one leg was wood. It was clear that the pirate meant no good. In this stanza, the poet describes the pirate. He says that the pirate has pistols in both his hands and held a sword with his teeth. His beard was black and one of his legs were made of wood. which meant that the pirate had fought with sea animals and men and had lost a leg in the process. It was clear that the pirate was there to harm them as well. Stanza 9. Belinda paled and she cried, "Help, help!" But Mustard fled with a terrified yelp. Ink trickled down to the bottom of the household, and Little Mouse Blink strategically mouseholed. This means that seeing the pirate, Belinda became so frightened that her face turned yellow with fear and she started crying for help. The dog yelped with fear as well. The dog yelped with fear and ran away. The cat and the mouse ran to the basement and hid themselves there as though they had already planned for it. Stanza 10. But jumped Custard, snorting like an engine, clashed his tails like irons in a dungeon. With a clatter and clank and a jangling squirm, he went to the pirate like a robin at a worm. In the stanza, the poet says that when all the brave inhabitants of the house were scared, Custard, the only cowardly member of the house, came forward and showed extreme courage. He jumped onto the pirate and made angry sounds with his nose. He hit his tails to the ground and produced sounds similar to the metal being rubbed against each other in the underground prisons. He attacked the pirate just like a robin bird that attacks the worm. Stanza 11. The pirate gaped at Belinda's dragon and gulped some grog from his pocket flagon. He fired 2 bullets, but they didn't hit, and Custard gobbled him every bit. This stanza says that the pirate became so shocked by the dragon's roar that he had to drink his beer in order to calm his nerves. After he was a little calm, the pirate shot 2 bullets at Custard, which he dodged efficiently and ended up eating the pirate whole. Stanza 12. Belinda embraced him. Mustard licked him. No one mourned for his pirate victim. Ink and Blink in glee did gyrate around the dragon that ate the pirate. This means that when they saw the pirate dead, Belinda embraced him and Mustard the dog happily licked him. The cat and the mouse happily danced around and no one mourned for the dead pirate. Stanza 13. But presently up spoke little dog Mustard. I had been twice as brave if I hadn't been flustered. And up spoke Ink and up spoke Blink. We would have been 3 times as brave, we think. And Custard said, I quite agree that everyone is braver than me. Here the poet says that after thanking the dragon and celebrating their victory over the pirate, they were suddenly reminded of all the times they had made fun of Custard's cowardice. So, to cover it up, Mustard came forward and gave an excuse saying that he would have been twice as brave if he hadn't been confused at that time. To this, Ink and Blink stepped forward and said that they would have been thrice as brave as Custard. To this, Custard the dragon said that he quite agrees that they all are more powerful and braver than him. Stanza 14 and 15. Belinda still lives in her little white house with her little black kitten and her little grey mouse, and her little yellow dog and her little red wagon and her really truly little pet dragon. Belinda is as brave as a barrel full of beers, and Ink and Blink chase lions down the stairs. Mustard is as brave as a tiger in a rage, but Custard keeps crying for a nice safe cage. By these lines, the poet means that after the overwhelming episode with the pirate, they all returned to their old selves, living their lives as they used to live before confronting the pirate. Belinda still lives in the same White House with the same pets. All her pets show acts of bravery, while Custard the pet dragon is still a coward who keeps crying for a nice safe cage. I wasn't planning on it, but the video is already too long. Even though we are yet to cover the rhyme scheme and other poetic devices of the poem, the central theme and the important MCQs as well. So, let's stop this video here and cover the rest of the topics in part 2 of this video. Yes, let's do that. Next up, I'll be uploading part 2 of this video. Please look forward to it. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience caused. Until we meet, stay away from the cold, don't get sick, and study hard. Thank you.